mad at nobody. You never hear me talk about that. 31 years, this bitch left me, then she ran off my man, she took my money and none of that. Some punk shit. I'm all right. All I need is me. Man, you got some books in here, you got some right. I wrote like 15 books in there.
Yeah, I was going back up and ask you, throughout your 31 years, because that's a long time. What type of stuff was you doing to keep you, to keep you as strong as you is? Like, because that time done broke down the best of them. You know what I'm saying? What type of things kept you well kept, whereas though you back out and you got your same dignity as like the day you went in? Like you got your same zeal, you just way more sharper. But what type of things throughout them years was you doing?
I love knowledge. I love to read.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the jail. My mind was off, out of jail. Same way with them women, you be with you when you get evicted and all that. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I had one that hung in there with me, except for a 6-year period, because we started to argue over my son, how to raise him, what school to go to and all that, And she was hard-headed and I wasn't on the street. So she figured like, I'm the one responsible for taking care of him. So she was overriding me, and snitching. So I started talking to her for 6 years. 6 years, even though other than, I call home every couple of days, check on my son. Mm-hmm. And I would be like, get little Rudy. And we didn't talk for 6 years. But she finally came back around. After 6 years, she came back around. We was, communicating again. She just come back, see me and all. But same way when you get time and all, for whatever reason, women gonna move on with their life, and as they should,
Yep.
They should move on with their life. Same way they move on with their life, I moved on with mine. I was living through the books.
Okay.
And I get to a book, and I'm reading about Paris, Italy, and all that. I'm there. And I understand everything I read the way it's supposed to intended. I get full understanding of it. I might not remember everything. I might have to read it a couple of times to remember everything in there. Mm-hmm. But usually when I read a book, I remember like 70% of the facts, not dates that so much, but the facts in there. And so I was moving on with my life. You got to replace that something. If you don't, you're going to sit up, and be angry. And that anger is going to build up. It can't go nowhere. You ain't got no target for it,
Right.
So I had to learn that too, No matter what, how much time they give me, how long they keep me in it, don't give into anger. Because it's only going to hurt you.
Right.
So I challenge that anger. I'm stronger than that anger.
Damn.
But I get angry a little bit, irritated and all that, but I don't dwell in it. I don't hold it and all. And then I'll go back to the person. If I'm wrong, I'll be like, I was wrong. We had a misunderstanding. I'm not the type of person that's going to wait, hold out for them to come to me.
More man shit.
Yeah, that's punk shit.
Yeah. More man shit. You giving up more stuff about a man than I ask. That's man shit right there. You able to go to a motherfucker and say, look, I was out of pocket or I was wrong. Well, I apologize, for this.
Right.
That's man shit.
Let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Man can always talk. Little punks don't want to talk face to face with a man because he know the man gonna see the fear. Mm-hmm. So he want to talk through other people. He wanted to talk on the internet or Don Diva magazine like these niggas beef. They don't want to go face to face with it.
Right.
No, I'm shooting them on sight, Come on, get together. No, I'm shooting them on sight. That's how they do.
There's no diplomacy.
They're tough, but they throwing up a smoke screen. Ain't nothing they can do to fool me.
Right.
They throwing up a smoke screen. I want you to meet this good man. No, I don't like meeting people. No. Why you don't like meeting people? Because you're phony and somebody gonna see through you.
Damn. That's real shit.
You don't want nobody to get to know you. That's how black people is anyway, across the board. They don't want nobody to get to know them. They want people to assume that they doing good. Ain't nobody crazy in their family, alcoholics and dope fiends and shit. They walk around with their head up in the air and shit like that.
Like they shit don't stink.
Right.
Like
So
we
they
all
don't
ain't
want
got
to
dope
invite
fiends.
nobody to their houses and shit. They don't want to talk and relax and enjoy each other's company, because they can't. They scared. They scared,
Right. What's one of the biggest lessons you learned though in life? Like that really like shaped you also, like one of the biggest lessons. It could be something down to just understanding people to the point where as though you don't put expectations on people because they started telling on you, coming to court on you. Like, what is one of the biggest lessons that you learned
in life.
in life?
Gentlemen, I'm going to quote Shakespeare on this. The whole world's a stage and everybody playing a part. So when you see them leaders, the Pope, the Obamas and all, they just playing a part. So people look up to them like, oh man, they special. He went to Harvard, he went to Yale and all that. They got nice suits, they got the Air Force. They putting on a show for you, man. Keep you watching them. Prestige is power. People perceive you as prestige and all. It's power. I walk down the streets of Baltimore City and people see me as, they read about me and see me on TV and they was like, what's special? They pull over the cars and all, come up, this and that. Suppose I ain't had it. I'm still the same size, same person, and all that. But if they don't know that, they walk right past you. They might push me out the street. Nigga, get out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm telling you a true story, man. What was it, 89? I went over city jail, my last state case. And they gave me $1 million bail. Right. And I was over there overnight. Right. I wanted to get out that night so they'd be pissed off. And nigga back out there because they thought that was gonna hold me,
Right.
They was pulling screens and all that shit. Right. So I said, I'm gonna get out on this bail tonight,
Dang.
Show them, you can't hold me and shit. They intimidated little black commissioner woman, They bought they were standing outside the door. They didn't care where I see them or not. They were standing on the side of the door. She couldn't see him at all. Because they feel like, this dude might falter. He might lose his heart to ask for that bail. So they stand and make sure, he looking at, I can see all this, but she can't see this. So she give me $1 million bail. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get out on this bail tonight.
Serious.
Only thing kept me from getting out on it because they wanted some property. It took some time to property. The cash ain't stopped me. They wanted some property and shit to secure that,
Right.
So it took them a day and shit. I was mad as hell too about that, because I didn't know what the hold up was for real until I got out.
Let me I'll just pause right there. What particular charge was that with $1 million bail?
It was a drug possession. Drug possession. Was it handguns involved? Let me think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a handgun.
Oh, wow. I was about to say, why they try their best to hold you in there then for a drug.
I don't know where the drugs come from. I'm gonna tell you the truth. They fucking planted the fucking drugs.
So they planted the drugs?
Yeah, they planted the drugs.
Dang.
Because I wasn't gonna touch nothing. Be in a car with no drugs or nothing like that.
Dang. So you was
one of them. It wasn't a whole lot of drugs, It wasn't a whole lot of drugs. It was just like, get that nigga, we tired of him, Every time they thought they had me and shit, I walked away and shit. The police is frustrated. The police has got a power complex. We the police, we do whatever the fuck we want to do. We the biggest gang in the fucking cities. Fuck you mean we can't do this and do that? And then most of them little motherfuckers out there that they go up against for shit, they ain't got no brains and shit.
Right.
Their brains ain't they smart, but their brains ain't been developed, they don't have no formal or education, no book knowledge, or no training.
Right.
They're real smart on the street. So they used to beat them when they drag them off there, you know.
Right.
They beat him, you know.
Dang.
Take a deal, you know. When you going to jail, and they gonna know y'all this element. Okay, I'll take the 35 years, and I don't take shit. I'll take an ass whipping. But I don't take nothing. You got to beat me in the court.
Yeah.
And I live, sleep, and breathe when I got a case. It's total. It's, you know, until I find a way to beat it. You know? So if you come in there half cocked, you ain't gonna beat me. The last case I beat the head state's attorney when I was out on $1 million bail. Everybody know who he was. They voted to put him in office. He was on the cover of Warfield magazine while I was out on bail. I read a lot, so I read the newspaper. I don't want to know what's going on in my city. I don't want, you know, you got to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Most street niggas, all they're concerned about is what's going on in the nightclub, in the hood, what's the latest car, Mercedes made and all. That's what they're concerned about. You know, but you gotta be concerned about what's going on in Annapolis City Hall.
Right.
Clarence Mitchell Courthouse. Because you beat them, they out to get you. They trying to prove to the public that crime don't pay. But then you look up, you know, you got a Benz and all that. You ain't even been, you know.
You only got a high school diploma.
All them alive, they mad, you know.
Yeah.
They trying to tell people crime don't pay and shit. And you showing them, you know, and the people, you got a Benz, you got gold, you got a new car every year, and everybody see you and shit. Who they gonna believe, you or the police?
Yeah.
So they mad.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta know how they think and shit, you know. And that anger build up and all that. And they just like, I'm gonna get this nigga, I'm gonna get this nigga.
So let me ask you, because you did state time even before you did the even before you know caught the federal sentence. So you did state time also. What that state time was for?
The state time went away. I got 5 years. What you talking? We got to do it in sequence.
Oh yeah, see, oh yeah, I know you've been through the system.
You talking about? They waived jurisdiction on me. I was in the camp.
Yeah, okay.
First time they sent me a form, you know, because little ride situation in there.
Mm-hmm.
Little ride situation in there. It was a rival clique and all that, you know. Mm-hmm. And dude got out of line. He thought that he could fight me, a little built country boy, you know. And but if you fight me, you got to fight the whole college. So we beat the shit out of him, you know?
Yeah.
They charged us with assault. We were 16 years old. So they waived jurisdiction on us, made us adults, you know? So they sent us on a farm. That was the first time. I did 11 years. That was for manslaughter.
Right, okay.
I got 5 years for it. I went in there. I was still young, you know? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't taking this shit serious. Prison is a playground, you know? Mm-hmm. Where everybody going there, it's just competition. Who's the baddest nigga? Who gonna run this shit and all that? You know? Mm-hmm. So I went right back in there. You know, I don't really plan that shit, but eventually it happened. Everywhere I went, Boys Village, Pick the Color, camp, city jail. Mm-hmm. Eventually, just me being myself, I'm gonna end up have more influence than anybody else. The first couple times it happened, you know, I just realized it. And after that, you know, when I go into jail, you know, now I figure that's my birthright. I'm looking for this. So when I goes up to, after 5 years, I goes up to old jail, Hagerstown, mm-hmm. And some of the dudes that I left behind, you know, our prison careers parallel each other. We was up Boys Village.
That's how I be.
And all that together. We brothers and shit. Mm-hmm. So when I get out there the first day, they see me, they happy and all that. Mm-hmm. The rival gang watching. Mm-hmm. Fucking that nigga is right there, you know. They hate right there, you know. So fuck that nigga, I don't care. So me and my man, we walk in the day room. We pacing up down the day room, right? Catching up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He happy to see me, I'm happy to see him. So we got a lot to talk about. Next thing I know, the dude's coming our way, you know. So I went to move out his way, he bumped into me. Kept right on going. I looked at him, I was like, damn. So I went behind him, I was like, look, man, don't you realize he just bumped into me in this? I know, so what, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I said, what? I said, all right, bump into me again then. So we kept on going. I came back, he bumped me again. And next thing you know, he was bent over the table, had the knives and shit. Knives in his hand, they bent all his hand and all.
Yeah.
I got 10 years for that. Did 18 months on shoot. We call it Supermax.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a room by yourself, it's a steel door. They let you out, you know, for like an hour every couple of days. You go to the other cell and you can't really see in there. You know, you stand there and talk to your buddies and stuff.
Right. So you was more like a shit finisher versus a shit starter.
Right. I don't start nothing with nobody.
Right.
Matter of fact, I ignore a lot of shit. You can step on my feet in the club and shit. I apologize to you. I don't want no smoke and shit.
Right. That's how I'm is. That's my character. I don't start trouble, you know, but I make it my point to I thrive off, you know, once you start it that I'm gonna finish it because I already in my mind I ain't started, so that drives me even more. But I know in my and you know, you old enough to be my father, so I'm pretty sure the further you go back. Was it harder when you light skinned?
I might be your father. You know I got around.
Huh?
I might be your father. I got around.
Might be my father. You've been around. That's what's up, man. You already.
No, I'm joking.
No. No, but no, I was gonna say, you know, Ben is like the further you go back when you light skinned, it's harder on you. You know, you got pretty eyes and all that, man. Like you light skinned, handsome. So when you fit that criteria, Lord dude, you're a Lord nigga. It's like people try you quicker versus the ugly nigga with the missing tooth. You know what I'm saying? And they think he go hard or they think he already, you know what I'm saying, about his business because he you know, funny looking or whatever.
Yes.
So did you feel like you had a little man complex or like you was handsome so you gotta lay it down?
I don't think I had a little man complex, you know.
Okay. When
I was like 6 or 7 years old, I used to get a butcher knife, you know, hide it, you know, walk down the street, you know, looking at people. You know, I wanted some trouble with shit, you know. I thought I was bad, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was little enough. But it was a thing, let me think, you know. It was a thing, you know, that that's just how I was. I don't remember really being singled out because of this and that.
Okay. Was it any like OGs that you looked up to that you wanted to kind of like mimic it to a degree? Like man, that's that guy. He is slick dude. I like to be like that. He got all the women. He got the cars, and he ain't had no better though. But he got all the cars, and you know.
Oh no, nobody in drug gang. No. I remember when I was little, like 9, 10 years old. You know, you hear about dude reputation. He could fight his ass off. You know, he beat up so and so. You know, and you had a lot of dudes like that in the neighborhood, right? So I used to hear about him. You know. I ain't really want to be like, but I used to hear about. I want to know who that guy is, you know. And just one day, you know, they'll say he come up the neighborhood. That's him right there. Now you got a face on him, and shit, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that bad like that can fight his ass off and shit, right? Within 3 months, you see a nigga beating his ass, chasing him down the street. I've seen it so many times and shit like that. So I got to the point, you know, and I ain't believe none of that shit.
Right.
You ain't gonna get me like that no more, you know. And but later on though, it was like when I started reading books, revolutionary books and political books, history and all, the one that impacted me the most was George Jackson.
Yeah.
And then Che Guevara, you know, because Che Guevara was George Jackson's hero. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I named my first son Che. Named my sons after no drug dealers. Fuck is a drug dealer.
Right.
I was mad. I became a drug dealer because I was mad and I was young and shit, you know. And I was gonna live good no matter what. You know?
Right.
All I don't want it, fuck y'all. I'm gonna get mine. Just don't get in my way. You know?
Right.
But I was well read on that, backwards and forward when I came home as a teenager. So yeah, I looked up to George Jackson and Che Guevara because they was the truth.
Yeah, George definitely was like
even
that.
Even in the jail and shit, they ain't had no fear. They was larger than life and shit.
Jonathan was really like that.
Yeah, you know Jonathan Jackson too.
Yeah,
George raised him.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
He was 16 years old. He went up in the court with guns and shit.
Yep.
Took the guns from the guard, took the judge, took the prosecutor, and 3 clerks in there and put them in a van and shit. 17 years old. That's, man, that don't fear, you know.
Right.
That's what you respect me. Other than that shit, if you don't fight back, ain't nobody respect. And we don't fight back. We know that in the hood. We know that in the prison. If you don't fight back, there ain't nobody gonna respect you. Ain't nobody gonna pick you up.
Right.
They gonna kick you too. You lay down there, somebody else gonna come up and kick you. That's why you better jump up real fast. but if we know that in the hood, why we don't know that in society on the political level?
Yeah, on the political
level. When it comes to the white man, why we don't know that now? We kick our ass, shoot us, kill our kids.
Yeah, you know, well, I'm gonna say, you know, back, you know, being as though you rock with George, I rock with George too. So of course, you know, you, even though you was in prison, but you know, of course, you know about BGF, you know, and it's definitely big in our town, you know, and they had guys that really learn from, like George Jackson, but the new way they, you know, the way they moving is all contrary to what George, what he stood for. You know what I'm saying? Like
totally contrary to.
Yeah. So it's almost like I wish, you know, a lot of them would be more so into the real way how George, his message and the way he moved and the way how his people's moved and they cars and all that, because I just see a lot of black oppression. I don't see nobody even in City Hall. Like, I think to be like a real organization that can make moves, I think you got to have people in political power. I think you got to have people, you know, inside city halls, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the judges all at, because that's why organizations like Ku Klux Klans and stuff like that, this is why they still stay prevalent and they got power, because they got people, they got judges that's in the Klan.
90% of Americans' police force and the prison, federal prison, they card carrying Klansmen. You know?
Right.
The manpower and shit like that. See, this is stuff we got to know, man.
Right.
You got to have political power and shit like that.
Got to have political power.
Because they determine who get the jobs, who get the contracts and all. We ain't getting none of that shit.
You should
know why? Because all we want is some money and some pussy and a big car to get the girls.
Uh-huh.
They call themselves men. This little boy shit, man. It's that whenever little boys get in charge and shit, they fuck shit up because they don't know how to be a man. All they know how to do is pretend to be a man and shit. And that's what's happening to BGL.
Mm-hmm.
Little boys done took over the kiddies.
Yep.
And all they want to do, you know, is fuck shit up, let somebody else clean it up behind it, change their diapers and
shit. Yeah. Yep. Change their diapers. Yeah. You know, I don't know. It's just a lot of black leaders, man. A lot of forefathers, they get rid of us. They don't like guys like you that can think, that can organize, or can, you know what I'm saying? They don't really like guys like that, you know, that the youth. That's why even like when you speak, I'm attentive because I respect your mind. And they don't like somebody that can have a group of people that respect their mind, they try to get rid of you. If the drugs and all that already ain't getting rid of you, because I think that's what happened to a lot of black organizations. I think the narcotics took hold of them. Certain things that we ain't got no boats and no planes and all that shit.
Back 50 years ago to the 70s, the tail end, black people's on the rise and shit. So it scared them, They was uniting. You had them marching. They was talking and all. They ain't never seen nothing like that, We thought Willie Lynch had these niggas under control, they could unite.
Mm-hmm.
The light skin, one with the dark skin, the short one,
Mm-hmm.
Green eye with the black eye, the plan that they use every little difference to set us apart, make us compete with each other, make some of them think they better than others.
Yeah, I think that's more like
with green eyes like mine, walking around proud. I got green eyes and shit. My family was like that too. But how did I get these green eyes? Why they get them? They ain't never thought about that.
Yeah.
You trace it all the way back and shit. White men weren't married black women, slaves or nothing like that. So you trace it back. Somebody got raped. And I'm supposed to be proud of these. I'm supposed to walk around thinking I'm better. The closer I am to a white man, I'm better. A motherfucker that don't have no respect for us.
Damn, that's deep.
And I tell them youngins like that in the jail and all, they might agree to everything. And I tell them this shit, they listen and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They listen. They don't get mad at me. They thank you, Rudy, man. I raised a whole gang of them in there. Hundreds of young motherfuckers.
What was
I we on that one. I know the truth. I stand on the truth. The truth is the only thing will set you free, even if it's against me.
I like that.
I am the motherfucking truth. Period.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let me ask you, what was the worst spot you been in? Like, on a BOP.
The violent spots.
Yeah, like the worst.
And it was the best jail.
What you say? Which one?
People get killed a year. It was the best jail.
What spot you say?
Lewisburg.
Oh, Lewisburg. Oh, yeah, Lewisburg.
Yeah. I went in there in 92. I was fighting my case for 2 years and all.
Okay.
So the shit was finally over, and I was like, they got law library in there, they got brothers in there. I knew a bunch of people in there. I knew I wasn't going home no time soon anyway, so I ain't even entertained that. I want to get back out there, I want to get my car back,
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody get my wife, I ain't even entertained. I know I was going to be gone. I didn't know how long, but I know I was going to be gone. And I know that, I know how to use my mind. I read something, I understand. I don't care whether it's quantum physics or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
astrology, So I figured, when I apply myself to this law shit, I'm gonna find loopholes and shit, which I did. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I didn't know is that they cheating and shit. They don't honor their own law. That's for show and tell. That's for people out on the street. So they can point to it. He got a fair trial. Look at all these rights he got. No. That's how slick they is.
Damn.
As long as people believe that in them, take them on faith value that they fair, honest men, these judges, lawyers and shit, they can rob the people with immunity. That's what they're doing. I ain't saying all of them. You got some good judges and some honest ones and shit like that, but it's a system. And they taking advantage of the system. They like pigs at the door. The lawyers and all that. Everybody eating this shit. Except for you.
Because there's some judges that be really feeling like they know the system some shit, but they use like basically their hands tied behind their back. You know what I'm saying? With certain mandatory minimums and a lot of different stuff that they know, like, man, this guy don't even really supposed to get this, but
I gotta follow it.
Yep.
Congress made these laws. Supreme Court said they was legal, constitutional. It's a system. It's a system. So these are the type of men, gutless men, if you say you got to eat this shit and this and that, they're going to eat it. Yeah. They're not gonna go with what they is wrong and all that, but you gotta do it. I hear it all the time, you know. You're wrong, you gotta go along. Just go along and shit like it and stay out on the street. For what? To go to fucking McDonald's and work every day and come home. You can't even put your shit in the cleaners. You go in the hole trying to, because you gotta clean this shit every day. For what? What is you fucking going along, you know, to avoid what? You getting a slow death. You come home, watch popcorn, cut the TV on, watch a basketball game. That's the kind of life you want? Yeah. That's what they telling you, the whole type of life you gonna get, or you going to penetrate, or you going in the ground. So niggas was like, man, you gotta do this shit. So I'm saying, you a punk, yeah?
Right.
You a punk. Don't tell me how many people, how much money you was getting. I don't want to hear that shit. Man, I was getting millions and all that. Fuck is a millions? They was getting $1 billion. And how you get it? You had to sell it to your own people. You proud of that? You an idiot.
Hey. Deep.
Nah, man.